Damn.
I just want to take her out and prove what a real man supposed to do. We can lay around and Hey YouTube, we've all been listening to a lot of content in the past couple of days since Drake has filed his lawsuit against Universal. What kind of I want to know what have you guys been listening to when it comes to this whole situation with Drake and Universal, Kendrick and stuff like that, because it definitely matters. Because one thing I hate about this situation is that it's so polarizing. Like some people are so pro Drake and some people are so pro Kendrick. I'm not really pressed about none of this because I'm not, but before we even get into things, I want everybody to know, I always reiterate this, that it's always going to be YMC and B till the death of me, okay? Like always, Young Money till the death of me. Young Money was very influential on the culture, very influential on all of us, which is why we're all here today, which is probably why you even clicked on this video. So thank you. And so I think that for me, because I'm a fan of the Young Money artists, well, really just Nicki, right? Like I'm not really a fan of Drake like that, but I'm gonna respect Drake, and everybody's gonna respect Drake, and I'm always gonna have we're all inherently biased. What you mean nobody? Sorry. Oh, you ain't been listening to nobody? You lying, first of all. I'm always gonna have a little bit of inherent bias because Drake is affiliated with Young Money and stuff like that. So it's am I unbiased? Yeah, I really don't care about what's happening between Drake and Kendrick. And I think at this point, we can all agree that this is bigger than Drake and Kendrick. Just like when we talk about the beef between Nicki and Megan, it is bigger than Nicki versus Megan. You get it? So that's what I think is very interesting about this time right now. That's what I'm interested in learning about. That's what I'm interested in talking about. I want to, I guess, just have sort of a free flowing conversation. So shout out to everybody on playback with me. I appreciate you guys so much. Lucy said, I don't understand Drake's end goal in all of this because he's going to end up exposing himself just based on the things he's alleging UMG is doing. Yeah, I think that that's a very basic point that a lot of people are saying. Yes, I'm pretty sure that Drake knows that they've done a lot for him, as we do Nicki. I'm going to give Drake the benefit of the doubt, and there's obviously so much stuff that is happening behind the scenes that we don't know. And because Drake is the top of the industry, only very, very few know what's happening. But it's really interesting how Joe Budden and his people, I'm talking about other podcasters, other industry people, were really able to have a conversation with fans, people who don't work in the industry. So in some aspects, they're teaching us and telling us, okay, da 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 da, things that you may not know about the business. But for the most part, people who've been in the industry for over 15 years and people who know nothing about the industry were able to have a conversation. And I think that speaks to the fact that nobody knows what's really going on at the top, because there's only but so many people at the top. Drake casually exposed the industry on this lawsuit, including himself. Nicki was vindicating with the Spotify stuff. Yes, I've just been jumping all over the place because everybody is talking. Literally everybody is talking, and that's one of the reasons why I sit back, because it's yeah, I have my first reactions to everything, and it's been 48 hours, so I feel like I have learned a lot from everything that's been going on. Let me say this before a lot of people get in here, okay? Like Lizzie said, Nicki was vindicated with this Spotify stuff. Sure, yes. I mean, of course, I would agree. However, it makes me, when it comes to Nicki, I want to say this before too many people get in here, child, because they can't take this point. Even though Nicki is vindicated in what she said regarding, Jay-Z, Young Money, Rock Nation, regarding bots, number one, total vindication will come if Drake is successful in this lawsuit and I can actually prove that Universal used artificial methods to promote not like us, okay? That would be total vindication. But the fact that Drake filed the lawsuit is enough, right? So, however, here's the thing, and that a lot of people may not agree with, and I want to lead with this. Don't If you follow me on any social media platform, don't ever think that you know what I'm thinking, okay? You never know what I'm thinking, okay? Even the people who've been listening to me for the past 3 years don't even know what I'm thinking, okay? Because everything for me is jumbled up. It's not all Drake is pussy, da 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 da. It's I understand all point of views, right? I understand all point of views. I understand how Drake's look crazy, because he definitely look crazy, okay? Young Money as a whole look crazy right now. So here's the thing, right? Even though Drake looks crazy to most of the fans, I would like to put respect on him for actually doing something about an issue, regardless of, yeah, da 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 da, he out for himself, whatever, whatever. He's actually doing something, because it makes me a little bit more annoyed at Nicki, because it's just like, you actually be saying the shit, but you just be saying a bunch of nothing. Like, like, and it's just like, these are important issues, like, where it's like you could have did something about it. Like, I respect somebody who gonna do something about something rather than just like talk about something. I just respect people who took some action so that we could actually have some sort of conversation about it, so that there could actually be some sort of solution. Because it's like they say, actions speak louder than words. Are we gonna talk about it, or are we gonna do something? So if Drake do is successful with this, legal journey that he's about to take, this will change everything about the industry and how they promote these days. Like, this will literally change everything. Look at the Payola lawsuit that Universal lost in 2006, and that was the first time, right? Like, they had ever brought up a lawsuit like this and lost, and they were found liable. So that's the whole thing. Anybody can bring a lawsuit, but for a $1 trillion corporation to be found guilty of payola is gonna be some. It had to be some shit, which is why payola is illegal. However, payola does exist in several different forms still today in the industry, and I will leave some links for you guys to listen to a couple of things that I've been listening to this week from people in the industry who confirmed these tactics. And there's a lot of information going on Twitter that we're gonna look at. I have a lot of tweets that I want to go through that exemplify all of this anyway. Like Lizzie said, Spotify gave UMG a 30% discount to promote Kendrick. Oh, here's another thing that I would love confirmation on. I was listening to this space yesterday, and there's these girls that, like, work in the industry, and they were saying that, like, this one girl was saying who worked, I think they started off making playlists, and then they were talking about like the whole playlisting thing, and how UMG, the labels, actually started to hire their own curators, because you have curators who work for the DSPs, who work for Spotify, who work for Apple Music, and they're in charge of making the playlist. But the labels started to hire their own in-house people to curate playlists for artists. And so let's go to Nicki's Spotify actually real quick, and I'm going to demonstrate this. Basically, it's basically a playlist, kind of like this one, featuring Shensia. It's like, not this is Shensia, but it's those playlists where you go on an artist thing. It's called like something, a playlist with a total discography. This you're gonna, if you look at artists profiles, you'll see a playlist with their complete discography, every single song that they've ever released, and you'll be like, well, who wants to listen to that? But like, notice what it says. CMG, the label, created this. CMG has their partnership with Interscope, which is where Glorilla is signed. So what this girl was saying in this space, I'm making up a scenario because I don't know this for sure, but CMG, the label, has a partnership with Interscope. Interscope is under UMG. So if I work for you, if UMG hires me, I am now the playlist curator under UMG. But now I'm gonna go for a CMG. I'm gonna log on to Spotify as CMG, the label, because it's in a partnership with Interscope. I can act as CMG. So I have access to their social media, to their digital real estate, if that's the type of deal that they have set up with Interscope, right? So let's say that we have that, right? Because they're in UMG. I get hired, and I'm working on CMG label, right? So now I'm gonna go into Glorilla's Spotify profile and make a playlist of every single song that she's ever released. It's gonna be under CMG, because that 19.3 thousand saves, it basically just allows people to just play your fucking whole discography, and you just get more streams, right? Rather than listening to the album, bitch is gonna keep going, so it's like, if you're really a Glorilla fan, you might really save this playlist. And so that was one of the things that labels started doing to get more digital real estate that they actually own on Spotify, in order to, get their artist streams up. Okay. So I learned that yesterday. Earlier in the conversation, they were saying, so because this girl worked for the labels, she was saying, this is what so many people say, like in the industry, all of the people who are in the industry saying, but all artists do this, all labels do this, all labels do these things for their artists. And it's like, yes, for the most part. But so these girls were saying, and because this is a Drake, proximity, you have Wayne and Nicki, this girl was talking about Drake, right? And so she names, like, she said Drake, Nicki, and Wayne. And she says, yeah, all of them do it. Like, all of them have, like, have engaged in whatever, whatever, whatever. And it's like, okay, interesting. And it's like, with Nicki, it's like, she is so like, oh, everything I have is organic and stuff like that. So when I hear people in the industry say like, oh, well, Nicki still does this, and it's just like, well, Nicki be saying like she be getting it on her own. So like, which one is it? And so I think that And once again, I'm always going to be interested in Nicki's business and dissecting Nicki's business because, bitch, that's my favorite artist, bitch. I don't give a fuck about Kendrick Lamar, okay? From what I'm learning, every contract is different. But I feel like Nicki literally gives Republic the bare minimum. She gives them the bare minimum, which is why she can boast so much about, oh, I own my music, I own my masters, I own my this. Because if you don't give Republic a lot of power, what is really giving me right now is Republic dead only do distribution for Nicki. Because where's the marketing? Where's the promo? You see how the bars be complaining? Where's the playlisting? And that's why I personally don't complain. I never complained, but back during 2021 and 2022, when the bars were like, "Where's the playlisting?" Da, 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 I never complained because it's like y'all be acting like Nicki don't be getting treated fairly, and I do feel like to a certain extent, sure, but for the most part, I be feeling like it's just because she didn't give them that much ownership. If you want to constantly be saying, "I own this, I own that," and you clearly see that there's no marketing support and the barbs are doing everything, that means it's bigger than something. That means it's business. If you see something is something happening for somebody, but it's not happening for nobody, for other people, it has to signify that, okay, well, sure, it's happening to majority of artists in the industry. They are using, bots or whatever because they give the label, the reign to do that out of their copyright. The label is making the more money they're going to make from your music, the more power they're going to put behind you. If you're not giving them a high percentage, then why are they going to go hard for you? So I feel like that's why you don't really see Nicki on number one on New Music Friday, number one on today's top hits. Now she went number one on today's top hits. I'm not really sure number one, if it was number one for Barbie World with Ice or if it or something. We gotta talk about Super Freaky Girl because while they was talking about this, all I'm thinking about is Super Freaky Girl because Super Freaky Girl was Nicki's highest solo debuting song on Spotify with I think it was 3.021 million streams in its first day. And so I want to know, well, was that organic or Nicki? Did you tell the label to press the button for Super Freaky Girl? That's what I want to know because Super Freaky Girl came with a lot of support, a lot of marketing support, a lot of DSP support. It came with radio as well. We got up to about did we go up to like 80 million, something like that? So I did be, and this is why I be having my questions because it's just like, well, Nicki says this, but the industry say that, and I do feel like it's a mixture of both. But like, I just need to know. Maybe she paid for herself. Yeah, but that's the point though. She paid for it, right? She paid for it. So yeah, she probably paid for those placements on she pays for placements on like whatever. If she want to be on today's top hits or whatever or New Music Friday, like those there's literally placements that are literally owned by the labels. I challenge you to go on New Music Friday. No, go on that one. Go on and I always pay attention to the ones I'm naming. New Music Friday and today's top hits. Go on that, take a screenshot every week and look at the positions every week. The song is going to change. But then go and look at what label does the song come from. If it's the same label every week, you know that label owned the number 10 spot. And they got to give up that budget if they want the number 10 spot. Okay? So when Nicki was ready to give up her budget, she gave up that budget for Super Freaky Girl. Thank you so much for coming though. And please like the video. Let's just go through some shit. So this girl, I don't know her, but back in my Clubhouse days in 2020, like she's a rapper, independent, and I just remember her from like being in rooms where we would talk about like music and music industry stuff. And so I just see her on the timeline like randomly yesterday. And so she says Drake trying to sue Dot. Meanwhile, ain't paid out from my settlement for stealing rich baby daddy. Man, I'm tired of this nigga. So she's alleging that Drake owes her, and she said settlement, which means that, like, to me, it means that they've already went through some sort of like litigation, whether she filed paperwork on it or whatever, whatever, whatever. If she saying settlement, then that means Drake know damn well who he gotta pay, and he ain't paying up, but he in court. We gotta always have the voice of the smaller people. In the filing, Drake claims that UMG told him that the label would sue Kendrick if Drake files his own lawsuit against them. If true, that's hilarious because why would that stop him? If anything, that probably motivated Drake to proceed. Wild. Even people who like don't like Drake say that Drake has a legal argument, and I do agree. And what I do kind of want to say, it's a very simple point, but I haven't heard anyone make it yet. And yes, Drake has benefited from the system that he is critiquing right now. However, he's mad, and I'm not saying I'm sticking up for Drake. I'm just saying what I think that Drake is thinking. He's mad because those artificial methods were used to defame him, which is why he then filed the defamation lawsuit, right? Y'all use bots, and because the thing is, it's like calling someone a PDF is, to me, it's worse than saying you're a woman beater. I don't know why, but it's the worst thing that you could call somebody if you don't have any receipts on that. So for me personally, I'm sorry, but I'm always gonna stand with Drake on that. It's just weird to me. So what I want to say is that's the point. That's Drake's point is that yes, I've used bots instead of da before. However, I didn't use that to defame nobody. He used that to defame me. But see, I don't understand. I don't know if you guys. I don't know what y'all been listening to. So if y'all been getting the real educated tea, but people are talking about now. This is an issue because Drake is renegotiating with Universal and he's trying to get over a billion because that's what he's worth. He's already over recouped the what he took out, whether that was 400 or 500, whatever the fucking number was. They're obviously back at the table. And why this is a issue for Drake is because, as we know, Drake hasn't been his music hasn't been performing well. It hasn't been the same. And so what he's alleging is that if UMG is found guilty of using, conspiring with Kendrick to use the bots to defame him, all of that stuff, they breached the contract, but also they're killing him in the court of public opinion with the fans. So now his stock is decreasing because it's like, well, Drake is the number one, but we don't really fuck with him right now. So do we really need to give you a bag? Nah, we got the power because the culture doesn't really like you. But they did that. They influence the culture to not like. So now he can't ask for that, Billy. So come on. So to me, that is the core of this lawsuit. That is the point of all of this. And anybody who talking about anything other than that, I'm not gonna say it's invalid, but I don't. Who did you hear me name Kendrick at any point, bitch? Who the fuck is a Kendrick Lamar? Nobody. Okay, and like, I'm not no shade. No, no shade. I'm sorry. The other talk now with the Super Bowl because Kendrick is gonna do the Super Bowl. So I've also heard people in the industry say that they definitely do not think that whoever is broadcasting the Super Bowl, whether it's CBS, ABC, or whatever, you cannot get on a main network and say PDF. You cannot. So Kendrick is going to have to change the words. He can't do that. So you know how like you can't curse when you're performing on national television. He cannot say that. I don't know if that's also a big concern for Drake. I'm not saying that because he can't perform the song. He can, remix the song, just perform They Not Like Us or, whatever that don't have that part, like, but he just can't perform that part. Okay. So go look up the performance that Kendrick did to the Pop Out, whatever the West Coast concert was called after the beef. Go look that up and see like what did Kendrick do during those moments. Okay. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be similar because that's not Amazon Music isn't a mainstream network, but just understand like what did he do? He performed the song 5 times. He let it play like 5 times, but it was mainly the crowd at some point. Those are, I think, some big concerns for Drake. This person said Drake wants to sue UMG to get out of his contract with a clause claiming they conspired against him. UMG rather place blame on Kendrick than to take accountability just so Drake doesn't get freed. LMAO, this is a nasty game. Point blank period. Okay. Yes, they're gonna put blame on Kendrick. And some people were saying like, oh, like UMG is not gonna expose that they're using artificial tactics. So they're not gonna bite back in the lawsuit and say, Drake, why are you trying to sue us when we did this for you? They're not gonna say that. They're literally that's gonna be admitting to a crime. So they're not gonna say that. They're going to make you have to prove it. Just like whoever won that Payola case against the UMG in 2006, whoever that was. Shit, that's who the fuck Drake need to be talking to. How the fuck did y'all do that? How did you get $1 trillion corporation to, have to take the fault in that? So, but like a lot of people are saying, Drake is the one. Drake is the one who should be able to really, kind of like go against the industry and stuff like that because he has the power, he has the capital, he has the social equity. Thank you guys so much for your patience with me. So it says, notice how Drake's numbers have been steady and consistent with no major dramatic increase in this suggests no artificial inflation. You can pinpoint the exact moment Kendrick's team started to use bots. So here is a graph of Drake and Kendrick streams against each other, how the feud has impacted their weekly streams in 2024. Kendrick is the red line on the bottom, Drake is on the top, right? And so April 19th, that's when thing kind of starts popping off, So Kendrick actually went down actually, and then he shot up around what was that 425. Okay, Not Like Us released on when? May 4th. So you see how after Not Like Us release, it shot all the way up. So I don't know. Shout out to everybody on YouTube. Thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate it. Please like the video. Young Money is down bad. Record labels and distributors can opt their artists into Spotify's discovery mode, a program that boosts song recommendations. So we went through this, right? Spotify takes a 30% commission, effectively reducing the royalty rate paid to the rights holder, which would be the label, in exchange for more promotion. So put my song into discovery mode, basically put it into like just shoot it out to people any way possible. And for the extra promo, you guys can take a 30% commission off of the revenue that I make. Now, I'm not understanding, like, yes, it's a big deal in the lawsuit, but like this, Spotify announced this last year. Like, we all knew that this was coming. Do y'all not remember it? Like, we definitely talked about it. This is nothing new. Like, this definitely exists. Now, let me go to Ray Daniels. Ray Daniels is one of the main like people on Clubhouse back in the day. You see how like Whack 100 is known for like Clubhouse. Ray used to be one of those industry executives who was like always there talking about, the business and stuff like that. He was a A&R at Epic Records. He signed NLE Choppa. Okay, so he's responsible for working with NLE Choppa and obviously other artists. I don't know if he's still with Epic, because I ain't been keeping up, but you probably have seen him on Joe Budden's podcast. He now has his own podcast that I need to go check out. I actually haven't ever listened to it, but and he was the one. Yeah, you guys know Ray because his shit is going viral for his interview with Deb, who was talking about Nicki, talking about the 5 million. You mean Drake is down bad? This ain't a group project. Nah, Young Money down bad. And Ray says he's mad at UMG for putting out a record, calling him a PDF, and knowing it's not true. So you sue everyone, but you did a song first saying Kendrick's manager is the father of one of his kids. Now, yes, yeah, Drake, like you kind of started the low blows. No shade. You definitely started this. No shade. Okay. That's why it's so hard to advocate for Drake, bro. It's so hard because it's like he got points, but then it's like you be doing a lot of fuck shit. So he says this is what happens when you let someone win so much that they can't see their faults. So, I'm here for arguments on every side of the coin, because everybody has valid points for real, for real. Now let me go to like Kendrick and Wayne real quick. We're gonna open the conversation up onto the whole of Young Money, like Nicki, Wayne, and Drake. Not so much Nicki, like for now, but like we'll get there, okay? Just bear with me. So anyway, like Joe Budden went on his podcast today and alleged that Wayne already has recorded a response for Kendrick. He said that he tried to call Kendrick and he didn't answer, child. So here's my thing. I really freaking hope that Wayne does not release anything on Ken. I really, really hope that Wayne keeps his composure because I did not think that Kendrick mentioning Wayne in the song where he said like my hard work, something Lil Wayne. I didn't think that that was a shot. That was how he felt. That's the truth. Kendrick got an opportunity, and for whatever reason, Wayne was mad, and he can feel however he felt, but that doesn't change the facts. So, and if you was in that position, you would feel the same way that Kendrick did, regardless of who you is. So I don't really see what's the problem now. I do feel like Kendrick is wrong for not answering the phone though, and so because they're saying that like that's why Wayne had tweeted what he tweeted because Kendrick did not answer the phone. So it's like, yeah, you don't give me a choice or whatever. But anyway, so this person says, you can't get on a record and cry about letting one of your idols down when he want to patch it up. You ignore him. That means you meant that shit in a negative way from the jump. Facts. This is why I saved this tweet. I saved this tweet because this person probably don't. Oh, this got 3.1 thousand likes, but like this lends credence to the fact and or conspiracy, whatever you want to believe, the fact or conspiracy that there is a agenda against Young Money, right? So it's just like you there was clearly a misunderstanding. Someone who you looked up to you is trying to reach out to you to get on the same page, and you don't answer the phone. And being that you all up in Jay-Z face right now, it's like, why don't you answer the phone? That means that, are you really here to agitate? Are you here to agitate and start a fire? And that's the thing about that is the thing about that side, Kendrick and Megan and Jay-Z is that they agitate in the most like they hit you where it hurts so bad. So that like Young Money artists, they react in emotional ways, because it's just like, oh, so you was really coming for me because y'all, okay, got you. Y'all will have a, agenda or whatever, I guess. If that's what you want to believe, child. I don't know what I believe, child, because ain't nothing is a fact. So nothing I say is true. Even my own thoughts, okay? Okay, so I want to move on a little bit to Young Money. Speaking of which, just real quick, Nicki's artist, Tate Cobain, he's dropping some music tonight. The song will be released at midnight. So he said a mixtape will drop at midnight, then merch. Okay, so Nicki's artist is dropping at midnight. Pre-save link. Seems like he found a name for his fan base. He's calling them the Crashers. So you can pre-save Tate Cobain's tape now. And that's going to be interesting. Are you guys excited? Are you guys looking forward to it? He's doing heavy promo. I feel like he literally just announced this like literally a couple of hours ago, like literally 2 hours ago. Is when I started seeing this. Oh, 4 hours ago, my bad. But yeah, like very, very interesting. So we will definitely be looking to see if it says heavy on it. And I think that it will. I think it will. So yeah. Oh, another thing I learned yesterday. I was so excited when I learned this, even though like not really, but like this guy that was talking yesterday, he was saying that like a P line. Let's go to Spotify real quick. So he said that labels have the option to hide a P line. So what is a P line? A P line is basically the line that tells you what's the source of the music, where it's coming from. Republic, it tells you the label. Labels can hide it. Really interesting. So they were saying this person who said he worked at a label and he said he spent 20,000 up to 20,000 a month on like Instagram ads, like all of them rap pages on Instagram, like academics, like all of them shits is paid, like everything is paid. Like you saw, it's just like he was saying like how much money he was spending and stuff like that. And he was saying like how this is a thing that they use. Like let's say they sign a small artist, like let's say I'm an unknown artist and I get signed, but they say he said we call them our babies. We call them baby artists. So let's say like I'm an artist and I have like I'll say like 100,000 monthly listeners or 200,000 monthly listeners, like something under 500,000, right? And I get signed to Republic. They can start developing me and give me music videos and da 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 and release all my music and still make it say Destiny and not Republic, just so that because they don't necessarily want to announce that I'm signed. You get what I'm saying? So I found that really interesting that they can hide the P line. And I was like, fuck, I hate that because that's the first place I always go to see where an artist is signed or what label it's coming from. So I was like, what? And then like when and Nikki told us when earlier this year, a couple of months ago, when she finally said that like she's done with Young Money in terms of her contract and she has a new contract with Republic. She said that she gave Pink Friday 2 directly to Republic. It only says Young Money on it for basically for vanity purposes, just to give Young Money credit. So basically, Nikki's just being nice. And she said, yeah, put Young Money on it, but it's really not supposed to be there. So that's just for decoration. So you could definitely manipulate what they call a P line. So that's really interesting. So yes. I learned that yesterday.